Oh, I got it. I wonder what this one is.
What?
This was Nick's client, Lo Cicero's client.
What?
Take 5 oil,
Why are they revoking the permit?
revoking a special use permit.
Same thing, the next one down too. Revoking, renewal, sorry. And then one here, Condon Road, revoking that permit.
That's, I don't see anything wrong with it, but
That's all. That's all. Yeah, right, you're still probably still.
And I'm sure they're doing it this way on purpose because if people,
make it hard for
if people don't do it, then, you know, they could just credit them for these things. but-
Live streaming.
Okay.
Do you get text messages on your cell phone?
Oh, of course.
That's I do.
Oh, okay, all right.
But if there's a link,
Yeah, but you could type the link in your computer now.
I sure can. I sure
Let me
can.
see.
As soon as it comes back up in the
I thought I
line.
had yours.
Mine.
Yeah, but your cell phone number, no?
I don't, well,
This isn't you, right?
Anderson. I'm in Anderson.
Okay, maybe I got
I'm in
you.
Anderson.
It's,
It is?
I put it in.
Back up. 716.
My cell phone is, oh God, 763 1024.
you're good.
Yeah.
The permit was already
Oh, that's it, okay.
relocated.
Yeah.
Amending the plan.
Going to my minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I just sent you.
Plenty of time, John, plenty of
You
time.
sent to me. Down here. That's what you need to type into your computer. And
Take action on whatever pops up.
there's something, you got an action, mobile account, click that, it'll save you $20. If you click here, you got $20 credit.
I can do that.
Just type that into your
I can
computer.
do that.
Okay, I've got 7 o'clock. We're going to start the meeting. Start by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wouldn't mind standing. Roll call, please, Cindy. Here.
Rebecca Anderson. Here. John Coltis.
Here.
Anthony Gorski.
Here,
Joseph Keith.
Here.
Lawrence Montesquieu.
Here.
Michael Ryan.
Here.
Okay, welcome, everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board for the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body. At this point, we're going to ask the board members to review the meeting minutes from January 7th.
Yep.
Ask for any changes or modifications. Hearing none, look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, we'll move on now. We'll ask board members to take a look at the communications list that should be at your desk for today's meeting. All righty, we'll move on to our agenda. Our first case of the night would be a 3-lot minor subdivision and site plan review and seeker review for 5956 Genesee Street. Mr. Bryant? Hello?
Good evening. John Barniak, Carmina Wood Design. I think just picking up from where we left off 2 weeks ago, since then we have actually received our wetland JD from the New York State DEC. The wetland JD found no wetlands on site, and I think that clears our last hurdle, if I'm correct, on our review and approval for subdivision and site plan and seeker.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Any questions or comments from the board? No?
No.
Okay. Ed, anything from engineering?
Couple things. Did you end up working out whatever you were working out with DOT?
So the DOT application is in their online review process.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you don't have approval yet.
We do not have approval yet, but it's in.
All right, and then the other two items that are more legal than anything else, one was the cross-access agreements,
Right.
and same thing for stormwater.
So project sponsor is aware of that. We've discussed it. His land use attorney has basically made the recommendation to draft the agreements after the subdivision has been finalized.
After the subdivision.
Yes.
That's, okay, for subdivision, that's fine.
Okay. How about the DOT approval?
Again, for subdivision, it's not really required for subdivision. It would be for site.
Site plan?
Yeah.
So is that condition then? Would that be, if we get to that point?
You could make it a condition, I guess, if, town board wouldn't do anything with it until,
Wouldn't that agreement be necessary in order to file subdivision? If you're gonna file a plat splitting the parcel up into 3 properties, shouldn't that covenant be distributed to all 3 of the properties? When
it
you
should
make the filing?
reference the 3 SPLs probably, or somehow reference them. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess, yeah, from this board's perspective versus the town board, I mean, I guess it could go on from here, but
Oh, yeah.
it would stop
There cannot be a resolution for town board approval.
to all that.
Not until the draft is, until the draft is formalized, finalized, ready to
So we can
file.
finalize our business, and then it would sit until everything was in place then?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other question might be, is any response to law enforcement's request? Is that a part of your application to DOT for a
Yeah, that's
secondary
part of,
entrance?
yeah, I believe it was another access to the site. So that's part of the DOT application.
Is that shown in one of the recent drawings that we have?
An additional driveway? No. No.
So then we're looking at a site plan that may be modified then?
If there's a secondary access, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So then how would we make that approval?
Well, we could make a condition, but that wouldn't prevent it from having to come back. I mean, without seeing it, I would say we can make a condition and then a conditional approval, having seen it, but we don't know what it would look like if it comes back.
Sure. Is it proposed as a gated entry?
No, I mean, we looked at the site plan, and just to see if another access was feasible. And typically, the DOT will only allow one access per site. I understand we're subdividing this into 3 parcels, but since we're going to have the internal easement for access between the parcels, I think the DOT would only allow one, ultimately.
So your belief is that they'd look at it as one parcel still?
Basically, yeah, with the shared access, yeah.
I'd be willing to go forward conditional that it's one access with what's presented, given that. And if it does go to two, then you just have to see it again then.
That makes sense.
But, there's no reason to hold it up in case something that probably won't happen might happen.
Brad, legally, what is your thought on this?
I think that proposal makes sense.
Okay. We want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
covering the town, obviously. Matt, does that make sense from a building perspective? Good. Matt, anything else that,
Not really. I mean, we had some occupancy items, special use for the public storage, which I believe we've had our public hearing for that, so it may be all rolled in with the approval that grants that. Yeah, everything else was pretty boilerplate on my comment letters. Yeah, we talked about stormwater. It should be pretty set.
okay? Brad, anything else from legal on this one? No? Anybody in the public like to speak on this project? Okay. We're going to need to reopen seeker, so we'd look for a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to reopen seeker.
Now second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
I can't remember where we left off. What you said,
It was
wetlands?
number 10, if I'm not mistaken, right? So let me get to there. That was short. Oh, it is in the packet?
Will the proposed action result in increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage is 10. 9 is. will
number
the
9, we
proposed
had it.
action
Oh, it's
result
number
in
9?
Adverse change to
Yep.
natural resources.
Oh, there it is, okay.
e.g. wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air, flora, and fauna. Well, I have a question when we get to it is, your submittal said there is a planned sandpiper on the site.
Mm-hmm.
How do you address that if you run across them? Because it's a grassland.
That's true.
I
think
understand.
that's automatically generated by
It is.
by the EAF.
It is.
Mapper,
But
and-
you'd be surprised when you're out there in the spring, what pops up.
And
Acting like killdeers, which are not protected.
I think in similar, I mean, I haven't ran across this specific species, but in other places, we usually get the guidance from the DEC,
On what to do.
specifically from them as to, what they would recommend. And we can certainly reach out and make sure that that's noted somewhere in the documents, if they do actually come across it during
They're-
construction.
What they are is, you know what a sandpiper is? A little bird on, like a shoreline bird.
Right.
He's in a shoreline or grassland. They're out there kind of like a killdeer, kind of.
Right.
So, okay, I just want to know, if, 'cause they're obviously not there now.
Right. Depends on
They are
the time of the year.
All right, I like to address things. If I see something, I like it brought up and in the record. So we are moving on. We finished,
Can I just ask you, I bet you want that number 9, and what is, it's the animal or it's a?
I'm sorry. what is
She's
it?
asking what species are you talking about?
It's a bird.
A bird.
So it is not flora, it's fauna. It's an animal, essentially. And it's just a matter of, if you see it, you contact DEC and say, what do we do now?
And what was the animal again?
It's a upland sandpiper, which is a bird. And it was generated, I understand they
Yeah.
get automatically generated, pop up on your automatic mapper. So, came up on part 1, question 15, and it's threatening, for long form.
Okay, then we'll move on to number 10.
Number 10.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
No. Okay, I think we've got,
we
every-
finish?
everything's answered, and everything has a no impact.
Did we do 11?
We did.
Okay.
Number 10 was the only one that was outstanding, if I'm not mistaken. So with that being said, look for a motion.
Move to recommend a neg deck.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We will make our recommendation to the town board for a negative declaration. Now we'll move on to the minor subdivision. We have to do classification on this one? We don't, right? No, sorry. The classification's gonna be next.
We have the public hearing.
Yep. So we will look for a motion on the subdivision.
Again, this is 3 parcels, right?
Yep.
Correct.
And I just want to be sure, 3 parcels, 1 driveway, shared driveways. I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision as presented,
Okay.
subdivision of land.
I will second that motion.
You want the conditions about the agreements, though, to be in
We
place
do want
before
the
it's filed?
conditions.
Yes, yes.
I didn't quite hear what. the
Cross-access and the
conditions were.
stormwater, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
and then do we need to make mention
Of the
if
DOT?
DOT approval comes in for 2 driveways? No?
Would that be subdivision or site plan?
They'd have to come back for amended site plan anyway.
Yeah, so this would just be for the subdivision. I don't think we need to mention the extra
I think
access.
you're right. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Rebecca making the motion, I've seconded it, and we've got the conditions of the cross-access and the stormwater
Two conditions.
agreements.
Right?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We'll make our recommendation to the town board for a 3-lot minor subdivision. And now moving on to the site plan with the special use permit. Look for a motion there.
Remind me, was that granted or is that next? Or is that what they're asking now? The special use permit?
It's necessary for
That's after
the
this.
46 units of the storage.
Storage, okay. And that goes after a site plan?
It's with site plan, that's the occupancy
site
that's
plan.
being proposed, sure.
Okay, so we're gonna make a recommendation on that in addition to the, like, that's part of the site
Yeah,
plan?
yep.
Okay. I'd make a recommendation to approve the site plan. What are the conditions outstanding? Obviously, the
DOT
special use
approval.
permit, the DOT. Well, so I recommend approval based on the existing site plan, unless the DOT comes back and there's a second access granted, in which time it would have to come back. And there was others, right? There was, the shared access within the plan remains. Is there anything else?
Stormwater.
Stormwater, okay, yep. Was there anything else? Meant to be making notes, but then I got.
We had cross-access and stormwater.
Okay, same as the site, and then that's the very wordy, awkward motion that I made.
Do we reference the sheet when we make these, or is it just assumed it's the plans as presented, and then the final approval,
The town board resolution will
Make-
include all the sheet
it
numbers
reference
have
that?
been
That's what I thought.
approved, and the date.
Revision dates, sure.
Exactly, thank you. Okay,
So we'll look for a second on that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We will make our recommendation to the town board for site plan approval. Thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to sketch plan for Eastport Commerce Center, 4106 Walden Avenue.
Good evening, everyone. Kevin Kirk with Uniland Development. Here tonight, we are looking to subdivide a portion of Eastport Commerce Center. I'm just going to throw 2 slides up here. The first one here is the existing Eastport. We have about 120 acres total. As it currently exists, we have one parcel that's in gray on the site there. That's a 10-acre site that was subdivided about a year and a half ago for NextEra. They're in the process of building out on there as we speak. The remaining parcel is about 109 acres at this point. And if you flip to the next slide for me, we are looking to take, skip one on me. Nope, go back, please.
Other way.
Sorry.
Back.
No,
That one, that's perfect, yes. They look the same. So the parcel in red is the parcel that we did the small industrial warehouses recently that were under construction, 3rd building now. At the time, we did not subdivide that parcel, kind of regretting that, if I'm being honest with you. Making our life a little more difficult right now for addressing, emergency services, all that fun stuff. So simply, we're just looking to take that parcel, subdivide it. It is 11.3 acres, break it out, and that will leave us with 3 parcels. This one, the NextEra parcel, and then about, I think what I have, 98 acres for the remaining parcel. The addresses will be, the mother parcel is 4106 Walden. The rest of them, the NextEra is currently 700 Eastport. The new parcel will be 800 through 850 Eastport. Pretty simple.
They'll never find it.
What's that?
They'll never find it.
Any questions?
It would be 800 Eastport.
800, the
Building
goal-
identifiers will be 800, 810, 820,
Correct.
830, 840, 850. There's not enough lot width to create 5 individual tax parcels.
So you mean the parcel itself will be 800 Eastport?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Cindy, I see that there's a note here for scheduled public hearing for subdivision before planning board.
It was prior to the letter that we, comment letter received today from Matt.
Oh, that's
Yeah, tonight you're classifying it,
So we would classify it as a minor, a major.
and that's how it'll be referred and coordinated. And
So that's all we're looking to do
All you're
tonight
doing
is
tonight.
classify the subdivision as either a minor or major. And it's under 4 parcels, right? Is that 4 is the magic number?
It's still minor
Seems pretty simple and straightforward to me.
until they start messing.
they did it for 10 years.
That gets a little more complicated, yes.
Questions from the board members? No. Ed, anything from engineering?
No.
Matt? I know you put out a letter today.
Yeah, it's, it was incomplete. We're going to need a little bit more information as far as the sketch plan is concerned. We just follow that bullet point listing for sketch plan submittals. We
Should have that to you shortly.
We want to resubmit like entire packets, so our staff isn't spending time making your packets for you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll take care of it. 31 copies.
Soon to end.
That's good.
26, we're all caught up in a digital age here.
That's good. Yeah, no problem. We'll have that to you shortly.
All right, appreciate that.
Anything else, Matt? Brad, anything from legal at this point? I know it's really early in the game.
No, sir.
Anybody in the public like to speak on behalf of this project?
Not today.
They'd be here but for the weather.
Okay, we're going to need a motion to classify this as either minor or major subdivision. So anyone like care to do a motion?
I'll move to classify it as a minor subdivision.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We'll make a recommendation to the town board to classify this as a minor subdivision. And then we will see you back here once you
Yep, get everything
jump
else.
through the rest of the hurdles in
Understood.
front of you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it. Have a very good night.
Too. All right, next, we planned on talking on changes to the site plan review and process, and subdivision review and process, and zoning changes to the map. Open up to the board for anything that they want to talk about? If there's anything they'd like to chat about on this one? I do have a list of things to go over.
Well, you start.
Okay. Why don't I start?
You start. Let me find my notes.
Okay. So the first one I had is, just like we just finished talking about, the classification of the subdivision is something that just came to us recently. I don't know that this should be on our plates. It seems to be pretty straightforward to me, as we just discussed. 4 or more becomes major, or under 4 is minor. So one of the things that I had in here is classification of subdivision should be determined by others when the submittal is received along with the code enforcement officials' determination of the seeker type. That was just thoughts, just throwing a bunch of words on paper and wanted to hear what others thought about that idea.
Matt, are there any extenuating circumstances where dividing something into 2 or 3 would be considered a major?
It was pretty clearly defined in the regulations, and unfortunately, when the code change happened in 2020, it was codified, and the way the whole subdivision portion of the code is, it's a very long section. So when you're used to using technology, you're scrolling down forever to get to the procedure. You have to pan through the design standards and the purpose and all this other jazz, right? So way down in letter H, they have procedures laid out. Formerly, it used to be, your minors, once the classification happened, it just went a different path of approval. This, the middle document, you bypassed the sketch plan and you went right into a preliminary plat for minor subdivision. You're just creating 3 lots on an existing road. You're not extending any infrastructure. It's a clearly defined action, never enforced prior to 2016. People would just run down to County Hall and file the deed, split the place up, not even look at zoning. So the birth of your flag lots and all these other fun little things that were happening. So that was the purpose of codifying subdivision regulations and making some adjustments. So when that boilerplate model law came out, it was out. We beat it to death for 3 years, something like that. I mean, it went from 2017 to finally post-COVID or during COVID to adopt it finally, right? And here it is right in the fine print, letter H. Planning board shall classify all subdivisions. Okay, all right. One less thing to do for me is whatever. It's pretty easy in my opinion, but the code is there. But we were always relying on an old application form that reverted back to the old system of doing things, right? So lo and behold, for the last couple of years, we've been pecking away at trying to dial up a proper form that gives applicants clear direction on what they need to do. I'm pretty down to the 9th inning of this whole thing. I just got to fix up a couple of things at the entry or the directions portion of the subdivision application. And then we can get it out for your consumption, comments, see if there's anything that we missed. If this is going to be a code change, make that recommendation so that we can change the code before we adopt a form that adheres to this code. Because we're 6 years into this code and we're still playing around with an application form.
Yep.
Makes sense to me. That would be a code change to take that step from the planning board and put it in your office.
But then again, we have other scenarios that are now available through our local law that calls for planned unit developments that are allowed in residential districts, all residential districts, and some commercial districts. So when we're proposing a subdivision of land for a planned unit development overlay, that's a discussion that has to be had at this level.
True.
Not just creating, 4 individual tax parcels or, whatever it is, whatever that scenario may be, major or minor subdivision, what's the ultimate goal of the applicant for the end use? Planned unit developments is probably the proper adaptation for your patio home communities. Common area with little pockets of individually owned tax parcels, condominium projects, let's see, how can I say this the right way? multiple ownership tax parcels within commercial or industrial districts. There's discussion out there, it's fairly new in the industry where they're condoing out storage units. Those little pole barn bays, you can buy them individually in some municipalities, believe it or not. So I think the planned unit development helps with that. It allows for the density requirements, but at the same time, it's going to conserve open environmental areas. So that's something that you want to ponder. Maybe you don't want to let the classification go outside of this board, so you can dig a little bit deeper to understand the overall project and the end game in there.
Is there a way to do something, and I guess that's what you're saying, right? Is there a way to do both, to figure it out, that it is applicable, falls in your area when it's necessary, then comes back to us?
It could, sure.
We would still have to approve it, though. You're just classifying it as, just like we did tonight. We didn't approve that, we just classified it as.
Just classified it, right, and it gave him the
So-
direction on what avenue to go for his applications, right? So, I mean, you know, the way the code's reading now, it's a sketch plan, and you're gonna approve a sketch plan for approval to preliminary plat. I mean, it doesn't, it's minor subdivision. Once it's identified as a minor subdivision, they're gonna make within 6 months, they have to make the payment and submit the documentation of a sketch plan. Do you need topography? Do you need easements for drainage when you're just creating individual tax parcels without any development? Not really necessary. But once you get into a more developed project where you're installing infrastructure, even if it is 3 lots, it's a major subdivision, and you have to create all of the what-fors and the easements and identifying all the systems that are in place. The first project we heard tonight, the Genesee Street project, could be a major subdivision. 3 parcels, because we're extending infrastructure to service those 3 parcels. Now you got a private road. Sanitary is gonna be all private sanitary. Storm system is probably gonna be a joint system. Parking agreements, signage, whatever, you know, dumpster removals.
So the subdivision, when it's a part of a project, it seems like this is gonna be something that comes up. But if it's a subdivision, it's not just a subdivision, then there's no project, there's no infrastructure.
Right, you
Drawing
just-
lines on a map.
You're just creating 2 tax parcels
Right.
without making any changes to the
So,
land, or just, you know, to sell off or for future development, who knows?
so would we wanna explore, like, adding some context to it that, you know, if this is a subdivision aside from a project, that we can offer guidance, or then we wouldn't offer guidance, then it's just a number, under 4 over 4. But if it's associated to a project,
It should come into the plan.
then it should come to the planning board. I mean, will people try to use, I mean, I guess.
I believe that's a part of your discussion requirements that are identified
Yeah.
in subsection 3 there of H. You know, you're gonna attend the meeting of the board, discuss the requirements and the regulations, street improvements, drainage, stormwater, all that, and then you can classify it. Because if you're gonna create 3 building lots on William Street, they're gonna all have individual swales and driveway accesses and, you know,
It was in one day, why else would you do it?
but this is where, you know, it's a minor subdivision, but, you know, you can put those conditions on there, T-turnarounds, make sure your sidewalks are in, that kind of a thing. Is it gonna be individual stormwater? What, you know, what are all the particulars?
Yeah, we can always do that after.
During classification as well,
We could do it both.
which are discussions I have every day with a lot of different people.
Sure. Well,
So how do we get to there?
Well, I like the way you put it, that if it comes in and it's just a simple separation, like a house with a lot with a house on it, they wanted to split off the side yard to sell. It's pretty simple. Does that need to come here? On one hand, it might, because that gives somebody the eyes to look over and see if the new lot is conforming.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the subdivision would come here anyways. It's
Regardless,
It's
yeah.
the classification, you're saying, would that
that there's
come
just a
here
classification.
for that, something like that?
And so if you're saying, yeah, it'd be minor, but, oh gee, look at this, it doesn't meet code. It's a good place to point it out to them. But it doesn't necessarily change the classification any.
Well, that's why I answer the phone. I have these conversations. Like I said, I have them every day,
You do.
multiple times a day.
Are you still getting a lot of lots coming to you that they went to the county direct and now they want to build? Is that
No, that stopped pretty quick.
Great, thank you.
There's a good relationship now with our assessor's office. I mean, it was prior, but,
Right,
I think the industry understood.
great.
We don't want to make an example out of somebody just filing something because they think they can.
So maybe we need to do that, I guess. Or, I mean, it sounds like no matter what, it comes here. I mean, no matter what, the project's gonna come here. So,
It's a pretty quick process. I'm having a
Yeah.
little guilt saying, well, gee, you need to come in here on a stormy night. And we say, yeah, it's simple, go away.
it's a good point because
I think it's
Yeah, it's
good
it would
for
deter, in some events it would deter, others it wouldn't, obviously, but, in some events, like if someone's got a bright idea, they,
Well, again,
Talk
the
about it for 5
classification,
minutes.
they have those, right, and like I said, at 98 grand a pop for a lot, it's worth to come in here on a stormy night and get that classification, and then have 6 months to submit your application form. Post 6 months, the classification expires. Start over again.
It expires.
Expires. Well,
but they can get that same information from your office.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know.
what's your pleasure, Matt?
Good question. Do we ask that enough?
What do you prefer?
I get along with everybody.
You're gonna hear about it whether it's coming in here for the meeting or it's in your office.
It's what it is. I mean, if it's gonna be a minor subdivision, it's gonna be submitted as a minor subdivision through the process that's laid out there. Either way, it's an unlisted action, it's not, it's not gonna exceed your, I don't know, the 10-acre threshold, or even if it does, that's, that's where we have to dial that in, but it's also different.
You know what other towns do? Neighboring towns do that similar process?
They're all over the place, they have similar, I mean, look, our code is pretty much copy-paste, right? It's, most other towns have pretty much the same.
Yeah. I guess I support limiting people having to come here for something that is pretty well
Administrative
defined.
and administrative at best, right?
Yeah. So I guess I would support them not coming in. I would support having that done before.
I'm sorry, what is
He would
for?
support-
Having it done
having that done
before.
before.
Yeah. If it's not a burden or it doesn't add work or anything. I mean, I'm sure they're still gonna call for that.
I'm having the conversations anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because the minor are typically not the massive, big build projects, so.
We just approved one last night on Ransom Road. It was a tax parcel that spanned Ransom Road,
Yeah,
east and west side of the roadway. It was a parcel before the road was put in. Last night they approved it. Now you have an eastern tax parcel and a western tax parcel.
And what? did
No
they want?
changes. Guy wants to buy the house and the land and then lease it back to the farmer. That was the Aldinger farm.
So we have finality on that one? Or as final as we're going to be?
for me, I would propose that we ask that to be changed to remove from the planning board, to deem classification, or recommend classification.
Would you like to make a motion on that? Maybe we need to make
Yeah.
it formal?
Do we need a motion on that?
Can't hurt.
You're making a recommendation.
Make a
Okay.
recommendation, so the board has to agree.
I recommend, I'd like to make a motion to undo all of Matt's work over the last many years of board generating. Take the responsibility off of the planning board to classify a subdivision, minor or major.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Great. We just talked about special use permit, so I figured that's probably a good place to go here. A special use permit that needs to run concurrently with a site plan should not be distributed unless they both are received and should be distributed together. Distribution to the planning board members needs to be added to the distribution list. So there's a lot of words there again, because there's a lot happening with special use permits, but we're being asked now, and it's a recent change, but we're being asked to approve or make a recommendation on a document that we don't get to see. And even if we were get to see that, we're still not sure what we're looking at and what recommendations we should make off of that. So there's two things in my mind, right? First is, if we're going to be reviewing them, what are we reviewing, and should we get some type of training to understand what we're supposed to review? And second, if we are supposed to review it, then shouldn't we get the document itself? I mean, we're asked to make comments on documents that we haven't seen.
Most of the submittals for a special use permit are what you already have for a development site. You're going to have the plot of land, you're going to have the building, the use, parking areas, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the Chipotle restaurant is the perfect example. It's a restaurant. They're permitted in the district with a special use permit. Drive-through, outdoor dining, but just a restaurant in general requires a special use permit. So it doesn't get unruly, so it doesn't turn into, you know, if we have 24 months of constant complaints of traffic, parking on Genesee Street shoulder to attend a restaurant, that sort of a thing, you know, we can utilize through the administrative body or the legislative body to bring the applicant back in. Hey, you might want to deal with your parking issues, either shrink the business or expand the parking to accommodate that, because it's always a public safety issue.
And with the special use permit, like, seeker, we have questions, we have check boxes, we know. With special use, is it more of an opinion?
Not necessarily, no, because there's standards and conditions that you could put on the site plan review directly associated with the special use permit. Now, again, if you go back to your planning training, Planning 101, special uses, you know, typically it's a referral to county DEP for any comments. It's not really an environmental quality review, but it's a referral. Does it line up with your comp plan? Is it going to cause conflict with adjoining parcels? All of these things, right? So, you know, as you know, we said tonight, your outdoor dining facilities, live music, amplified music. You see my comments that come across, no amplified music, or a certain time to end the outdoor activities, especially when we're adjacent to residential areas. So all of these factors come into play here when we're making recommendations for approvals, right? You're the planners of the town. You're directing these developers on how to build out and redevelop portions of the town.
So then, I mean, when we've had special use permits, I have a general idea of what the special use permit is for, but not as detailed as, you know, maybe we should. Not the plan, not the site, but like, for example, the description you just gave of Chipotle, it was crystal clear.
Sure.
And I knew what was going there. I had no questions. It was sort of a blow-by when that came, because it was so similar to what was right there. But that type of description would go, I mean, for all the special use permits is perspective. So,
Auto repair facilities, auto sales, resale areas. I mean, we can go right through the schedule and all the permitted uses in the district that require a special use permit. Contractors' yards.
Okay.
Building services. I mean, how do they utilize these locations where they're adjacent to other zoning districts that are going to cause conflict?
When the applicants have to do a special use permit, they actually have to fill out an application, right?
Right, because it's issued by the town board. And again, with the code change, typically wanted to align it with a site plan review.
How hard would it be for them to add another copy for the planning board
Well,
I don't think it's that difficult.
Is it on the website? Is it scanned into the planning board site?
It would be under communications.
Yeah, I don't think it's that difficult to get a copy to the planning.
For distribution.
Especially if it's an electronic copy, you can scan it.
You know, the process is what's needed.
Yeah.
Years back, looking, Matt, you'll remember, like a site plan, when the planning board would have a site plan go forward, there could be like 5 different conditions on it pertaining to, like, just what Matt is saying, you know, can't operate outside, you know, these are the hours of operation, dust control, noise control,
Noise.
things of those like nature. Now a special use permit is what I'm understanding to be more so that when they violate or they have, you know, loud noise that's disturbing to other residences or other businesses, or just activity past hours that are allowed to, anything that would be a violation of the special use permit, then the man can enforce it through saying, okay, we're going to have a public hearing. We had 3 of them last night and reviewed the special use permit to say there's a breakdown here. Things aren't going well, we don't have necessary information, or there's violation of it. And then there's a public hearing, and then that information is used to either revoke the special use permit or put things back in line.
Yeah, I never realized how great of a tool that is.
Or a probationary period, for instance. I mean, right today, Salvatore's is operating on a probationary special use permit. They have until June to get their act together over there.
Is that right?
They're struggling,
Huh.
but they're gonna get there.
Yeah. Sure they will.
But otherwise, when a site plan is approved, it's approved.
It's wide open, it's approved. This is why I'm gonna say this. We're live, right?
Yes.
I don't mind saying this. This is why we have a salvage yard right now at a retail pool facility in the light industrial district. Today. It's not a permitted use in the light industrial district. A salvage yard is not a permitted use in light industrial. It's permitted in the general industrial district with the salvage yard license issued by the town clerk's office. That's where it's permitted with a license, an annual license that's renewed.
So the question, I guess, again, take it back, was do we want the application? And if it's electronic, it would be great. If it's
It should be a part of the submittal packet for your site plan review. And even for existing occupancies that are undergoing redevelopment, you're going to see a site plan, even if it's a survey of the existing conditions.
Yeah.
That's your site plan,
And I
and it's
really
your
like that you're
recommendation.
making recommendations to that site plan, to get on record that when you have these problems, that it can be pointed out that we told you.
Sure.
So,
So again, I mean, you had asked about training. So the state offers these training programs, the winter series, the summer
Yeah.
series. Those videos are all available today for replay. You can get back into it and use it as a resource. What's the purpose of a special use permit? What can the municipality do to utilize it as a tool in your toolbox, right?
Yeah.
And then I would get into our town code and I would look at Schedule A and identify those uses that are permitted in the districts with special use permits. And the list is amazing. I mean, it's, adult entertainment, of course it is, right? But automobile sales, rental, repair, the bar, tavern, battery energy storage systems, special use permits are required. Business services to include sign companies, window cleaning, and other dwelling and building service and equipment sales and rentals. Special use permits are required. So all your landscape facilities, all of your ABC remodeling companies that have a site on their special use is required because they need to maintain their sites as it was originally approved. Composting facilities, obviously, right? I mean, so we all know what the traditional use permits where they're required, but there's some, because of the nuance of the occupancy, you got to deal with it, right? A funeral parlor, special use. Golf course, home occupation is a special use, but it doesn't rise to the level of site plan review because it's accessory. Processing, public storage, as you heard tonight, mining, sand, gravel, aggregate. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I think the more you get familiar with those schedules, the more you'll understand what uses, and then, those ideas start churning. I don't know about you guys, but when I drive around, I look at it and I apply our code to stuff that I'm seeing all over the place. Only because, does it work here? How come it works here and it doesn't work at home?
Okay,
So I think we can ask to be
yeah.
on the distribution list, for sure. I don't think that's a stretch. And then Cindy, we can probably try to locate the training that Matt was talking about and see if we can't get it sent out to the board members.
Just send that link out right now. It's,
Okay.
it's an attachment. It gives the dates that they offered those trainings for credit hours, but there's a link to the webinars.
Okay, that'd be great.
You could play them at any time.
Awesome, thank you.
Can I just ask, is there a way that we can somehow both going out together, the special use permit and application and then the site plan? Can they, I'm not saying become one, can they be, just so that they go through the process of being reviewed together?
They should be, yeah. That's the problem. I think that's why we have to have this discussion, bring all the parties together, let them understand what the purpose, why are we issuing special use permits? Because the code said so? I could find better things to do, right, with my day, but.
It could be on the application.
It could be on the application, but it's always based on the use. Not every use requires a special use.
So on the application, it says the special use required must be attached.
So when I use last week's ceiling devices as an example, there, we already have heard ceiling devices presentation, their seeker, and they didn't have their special use permit application properly paid for.
But what's the well, they kind of did, but what's the proper, why is the special use permit required?
For the conditions of the business.
The height of the building.
Oh, for that.
What's going to change on the height of the building that's going to force you,
So can we remove that?
please,
Necessary?
please?
So, I will ask, so, exactly, so in general industrial zoning, has that?
Light industrial.
You are allowed 65-foot height for a building, but anything over 35 feet, you have to get a special use permit.
But you can't change the building once it's up, so.
My point exactly. I mean, what violation of your special use permit condition, other than having to renew it every 2 years, why would you do that? It's a design standard, right? It's not a use that requires any special treatment, right? So if we get into the purpose and the intent of that portion of our code, what's the special use permit intent? To allow the permitted use in that district, but to avoid conflict with surrounding neighbors.
Once the building is up, it's up.
It's up. The guy next door is gonna balk at the 65-foot tall building because he bought into it. I didn't know he had 65 feet. No.
They had
Doesn't make
opportunity
sense.
to discuss it during zoning board of appeals meetings or
Anytime public hearing.
public hearings.
Yep.
So I think that could be changed. So that would be a code amendment? Yeah. Well, you're making another recommendation.
Did you want to make a recommendation for a code amendment?
Code amendment, I don't know how to word it, but recommend that there be a code amendment to remove special use permits from
Light industrial,
light industrial for, but
height requirement, height.
for height requirements.
So, again, I'm
Specifically,
multitasking.
we want to be narrow,
Let me get,
because there may be other uses in light industrial that need a special use permit.
But it would only be for the height.
Only for the height.
This, right.
Pertaining to the height requirement.
Okay, I'm,
So,
Only.
again, we're modifying Schedule B of Chapter 400.
there would be, okay. Make a note.
And it'll be specifically,
The specific line. finding it?
Not yet.
He's trying.
7-page document. Let's see. Okay, so this will be in your sub-notes. Number 5, requires a special use permit for all buildings exceeding 35 feet. And that's with any of your Schedule B items that have the footnote of letter 5. Again, this was migrated from the former 2000 version. So it's going to be on an attachment 2-7. It's the last page of Schedule B.
So Rebecca has made a motion, and anybody like the second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay.
Again, it's just a recommendation to make that change. Right, okay.
Next note I have on here is the lot created by the minor subdivision of 0 Maple Drive for Woodspring Suites should be rezoned by the town as residential.
That's the remaining lot next to the house?
Yes.
Absolutely. Next to the hotel.
Yeah.
After it's subdivided, you're talking.
Pardon?
If it's subdivided,
If it is subdivided,
the remaining empty lot.
the remaining empty lot, which is adjacent to the existing house by the cellar, would be changed to residential, not what I'm understanding, from the commercial that it currently is.
Wouldn't that be more easy to develop? And that's against what they're really looking for there, right?
Well, chances of it being developed as a residential lot, if you stand there listening to the noise from the thruway, depends on whether that upsets you. But
We just went through an extensive series of meetings with the public on this. Not just us, but every regulatory agency in the town, town board, zoning board, appeals. Trying to avoid that, obviously, we're trying to head that off.
It's residential as it is right now.
before they expand
It
another
could be.
hotel,
Correct.
squeeze it in, or come in with something like
I
a restaurant.
Get the
next door to
logic.
the hotel.
I just wonder, I just want to make sure that we're not, someone sees a lot that's next to a good neighborhood and, oh my God, I can throw up a house and sell it for 400, 500, 600. I'll cut down everything right there. I mean, I'm just,
Well, we don't have, that brings up the question of the URPODs and the conservation overlay districts and all those things that maybe those lines on the map need to be amended too.
wasn't there a conversation a couple years back that the town was going to try and secure some land for this reason? Did I imagine that?
For conservation?
Yeah, there was.
Okay,
It absolutely was.
feels like a
Do you
spot.
want me to bring that up, my point now?
If you'd like to, go right ahead.
Well, there have been a couple of places where we said, gee, maybe the town should pick this up just to preserve it, just for an open space, not to be used for soccer fields or anything else, but for open space with biodiversity. And right now, the DEC Open Space Conservation Grant applications are due before April 15th. And if the town has a grant writer, they need to jump on it for preserving sites and access to open space and biodiversity. What they're looking for are sites that the towns want to preserve for animal use, mostly birds. They're mostly looking at birds. And the minimum application is 50,000, and it's up to 3,500,000 for large parcels. So there are parcels around,
Private property parcels?
yeah, if they want to sell them.
So the only opposition I
They would
heard to that,
become,
I think that's the best idea, obviously, right?
but they would become town property. So if the owner wanted to sell it,
Well, that's an acquisition of land, and that's codified. It's early on in our local law.
right,
There's a method to do that.
there's a method.
There's a method to acquire land.
Yeah, but there's money to do it with, is what I'm
Well, you
saying.
need money to do it with, right? So I mean,
There's
whether you
your money
bond it,
to
or
do
you
it.
get grant, or you get conservation monies, or whatever that is.
So we have a way to do it, but there's never been any money in the pot. So right now, up until April 15th, there is your money.
It's,
But you have to have land that you want to buy, right?
Well-
They're not gonna just give you,
Any size
I'm
requirements?
sure you have
There's no
to
size.
put forth a specific spot. I'm sure the grant requires you to,
They do, and we've got a couple in town. This might be one next to the hotel, but a few years ago, several years ago, behind my house on Lake Avenue, there's about 43-acre parcel, and then there's some attachments that didn't get picked up, was applications for about 300 houses. And it failed because they thought they just put in a pump station, and Erie County Sewer District said no. So it failed mostly when St. Kiza was chair, mostly because it was 4,300 feet of flat sewers. 4,200 feet of flat sewers. I remember that number because Stan about fell off his chair. And so they went away. In the process of looking at that, the owners that have it came to the town and said, well, we'll sell it to you for soccer fields. Do you remember that? And they wanted $100,000 more than it was ever worth, or that they paid for it. And then they said, well, the town said, well, maybe we could come through and do something like that. I suggested they redo the wetland delineation because the old one had expired and the wetland had expanded. And the report says things like, this is one of the best remaining pieces of wetland. If they could connect it off this parcel with an adjacent parcels that would fit the DEC criteria, even at the 12.4 acres, not the smaller one. And they about gushed about the value of it. And it's not ponds and rivers, it's habitat. So that's an example. And if we had a couple other areas that the town had looked at, they looked at an area off of Seabrook maybe,
Is the area on Stutzman.
Stutzman.
Stutzman, and Seabrook, right?
who writes our grants?
so again,
If
I
only
mean,
we could find somebody that.
the last time we visited this thing, some municipalities had a public referendum out there to sell bond and do, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to generate the funding to do that. As I said, I mean, we've got, the owner has to be willing.
The owner
So
has
he's
to be
gonna,
willing.
he's gonna talk to the municipality to sell it to the municipality for less than market rate. I highly doubt that's gonna happen.
But you don't have to be less than market rate. If the owner is willing, perhaps the grant money would be available to pick that up. In other
Well, the
words,
owner of that parcel that we're talking about next to Maple still owns the site of the hotel, right? And that still has to go through town board. And not that it's a quid pro quo situation, but if we're talking about two things, there's benefit to, you know, the wheels.
it's small, that's a small parcel. The one, pardon?
The remaining parcel?
The remaining parcel, it's small.
Three or
The
four.
behind me, altogether, there's about 60 acres back there, but the parcel that was the big chunk was maybe 42, 47, something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's worth a shot.
So I'm just bringing that up because now's the time to think about it and to really look into it. And I would think the town would want to contact the owners.
Cindy, is this on your radar?
So I did have a notice that came out maybe about a month ago, and in fact, the IDA chair had talked about it. The application, though, did say that it had to be a 40-acre minimum, so
Maybe that's true, I didn't see that.
that was one of the conditions. So that kind of ruled out this parcel,
Which one, the one up on Maple?
the Maple parcel.
Yeah, but doesn't fill out the one on Lake.
And I'll look back into it and see if there's not something else or a different one.
I'm just saying that that was a way of looking at putting some town-owned property in the southwest quadrant of the town.
How big is that parcel on Maple? They didn't subdivide it yet.
1.4 is the remainder parcel.
Did they finish the subdivision?
The total parcel?
Yeah.
I don't know, 4, 3, 3.5, 4?
Didn't we do subdivision early in that one?
You made the recommendation with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if the town board
The
did
town
it.
board hasn't finalized it because they're still hearing from the residents.
Yeah, it's just a thought. All right,
Continue to hear from it.
so I guess you started with, you want to make it residential.
Well-
We recommend making it residential.
Well, I don't, I'm seeing if there's, what the thought of the board is, and then listening to what Matt has to say about that as well.
That parcel was residential prior, right?
It was.
And then they zoned it commercial. And now we want to put it back to residential, just because we don't, what?
We want to.
Yeah, just because we don't want another hotel there? How do you arbitrarily just make people's property?
It was a part of the
Unusable.
adjustments that were made.
It's not unusual.
Well, what if the owner wanted to
less
put a
valuable.
hotel there? It's less valuable.
Well, there's another question is,
Don't you ask the owner first? I mean, I don't know.
How did they get it changed to commercial?
they just did it.
That was part of the comp plan.
Part of the comp plan
Comp plan.
update.
So the owner wasn't consulted at that
No.
point either, right?
Even on William Street, the commercial zone on William Street, going from Transit eastward, is pretty deep. And I think that may have been because of that residential thing or something, but it takes like a whole row of houses that are zone commercial. We didn't ask them, we said, hey, you're gonna be commercial now. That was like the,
Yeah, you don't need landowner's approval for a zoning change.
No, I know, I'm aware. I'm just talking about what Mike is talking
I mean,
about.
legally, does he have a fight what if he doesn't want a commercial? Does
He doesn't have an option.
No.
There was an opportunity to speak at the public hearings and
Yeah, I mean, there would
voice
be a public
their
hearings to do that.
intent, and we, like I said, we beat that thing to death for about 3 years.
But I think Matt has said this several times, we try to make the decisions based off the greatest good, right, not the individual. I get what you're saying, I'd be kind of bummed too, but also, he had a pretty big windfall when he was able to sell to a hotel. So it's not like, if we kept it residential the whole time, he would have had,
Well, I mean, from a planning perspective, I'll throw out, would you do residential, would you make it multifamily? Would somebody put a 4-unit apartment house there?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you said, is somebody gonna build a $500,000 house next to the thruway? Probably
I don't
not.
think so.
well, when the neighbors is 600,000 value, I mean, yeah, you will keep pushing until someone stops buying. And it's worth it if you keep pushing and pushing, and then they stop buying that last one, then you realize, oh, well, I guess I'm done.
I mean,
But I'll still sell for
yeah, I mean,
350.
from a,
Spend 250 to build it.
from a planning perspective, you typically always want to go from your least dense, which is residential,
Yeah.
to your commercial or
Sure.
industrial. And you kind of want to have you want to have
Buffers.
kind of steps in there, so you go residential, maybe multifamily, maybe
Right.
multi-use, and then you might get to commercial. But it builds in some buffers, so you're not, next to each other.
I think it's a better multi-use area.
So-
Multifamily.
Multifamily,
The 2015 zoning map identified that specific parcel at the time as an R1, R1 district. So it was residential, single-family, 75-foot wide lots. And the general business district directly abutted that.
Then that changed based on the comp plan?
It changed based on the recommendations that were made through the process of comp plan.
Well, when they changed the zoning map the last time, my house got rezoned.
It
Used to
did,
be AR.
it did,
I wasn't asked.
right. Well,
If I
again,
wanted to buy more land and have cows, I couldn't do it anymore.
we identified those areas that are within the sewer district that
Right.
were developable and surrounded by single-family dwellings. That was a smart thing to do, is to rezone all of that as an R district. I'll just remind you today, Field Stream subdivision is an AR district subdivision, 100 feet by 15,000 square foot lots. It's not going to be used for an agricultural permitted use. It'll never be used for that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, again, as a board, it may be beneficial when these developments come in a sewer district. It's appropriate to, if it's gonna get approved in a map cover file for single-family dwellings, it's appropriate to identify that subdivision as a residential district.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing, I'm just commenting
Yeah.
that that's what happened.
Yep.
It used to be a 90 acre parcel,
That's correct.
and by the time it got to me, it's less than 2.
Sure.
So Ed, going back to your comment then, on this particular parcel, then would you suggest that that would be more applicable, would be better used as a multifamily?
I'm just throwing it out there that, you know, if you zone it residential and it's a single-family house, and, you know, if you're looking at development of the town, is somebody gonna build a house next to potentially a hotel?
Yeah.
You more apt, apartment house, maybe, 4 units, 5 units, I mean, thing fits.
I mean, personally, without mixing words, I don't particularly want them to build anything, so, and that's not for me to say, I would never, if it's presented properly, of course, fight it, or have the ability or power to fight it, but, physically looking at it, that is a determinant.
Yeah, I mean, if it's zoned residential, you'd never see the lot again. So you come in, they come in for a building permit, and Matt would issue a building permit, and come in and build a house.
True.
If it came in as multifamily, it would come back to this board.
So again, I'm looking at the 2019 map that was adopted, and they basically widened the corridor of any transit road development. And he just basically ran a straight line north to south that encompassed the existing commercial properties that made sense.
It makes
To
sense.
focus the development closer to transit road and leave the residential.
It did, I just think the line was too deep, that's all I'm saying. I'm thinking that line itself is
Yeah.
too deep into the residential neighborhoods that already existed there. That's my comment about where.
There's still a very big residential parcel from that commercial lot all the way to the corner of Maple though.
With the one house.
One house. Those people that came in and complained or live down around the corner. They don't
Yeah,
even,
there's-
they don't butt up to any of this.
Right.
Like, there's gotta be a line where the commercial and the residential, there's
I-
always gonna be a line.
I agree, I'm
I
not,
just don't know if one parcel's gonna help anything.
well, it's got the trees on it, even though they aren't in great shape.
So I'm always a proponent of updating that comp plan, right? Because that's vision casting down the road, right? Eventually, we'd like to get there, So when that gets updated, that has that conversation happen, and you hear the stakeholders, the property owners, they're the ones that tell us how they want their town built.
Right.
Once we establish it, then we administer it, we'll enforce it.
And future rezonings are supposed to be in accordance with that vision.
That's correct.
That's the
That's
path.
correct.
And I think they told us loud and clear on this particular project, what they,
Well, they didn't like it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty clear that they didn't like it, but the reality is those are as of right uses, all right? I mean, I could tell every one of those guys, okay, and next time you re-wallpaper your house or do an addition or something, you gotta elevate your building 2 feet above your base flood elevation. You know what they're gonna do?
I mean, the
It's gonna get
unfortunate
ugly,
thing.
all right? So, moving forward, and I don't wanna get into that because I know we're gonna have those discussions, but, it's zoning 101. Again, and this is the board that has to participate in that process when we get into that process. I mean, we were in that moratorium for 15 months, just to split those zoning districts up. I mean, there should have been a lot of engagement there, because now we're there. We're still getting rezone applications.
Yeah, and, it's unfortunate when we went through the rezoning in 2018, whatever it was, 19, I mean, there was very little input from anybody.
Anybody,
Yeah.
okay, well, I think we can move on from that one. I just wanted to throw that out there. We've certainly had quite a bit of dialogue on that. The other one that is on my list here is talking about maybe having a discussion with, regarding Sacred Heart Church on Genesee Street, regarding the grotto and other structures with historic significance, and whether or not they need to be named for historical landmarks.
I'm looking in.
Does anybody approach the owners?
I was gonna say, can a town do that, or does it have to be the owner asking for the designation? Yeah, that's what I think.
Discussion on what the
Yeah.
owner get to
Make application for designation.
specific place.
I think that's my list.
Good luck.
Good list. Those are good topics.
Is there anything that anyone else would like to discuss regarding this item? Or any other items, for that matter? Had a rather lengthy meeting for only two cases on it.
I guess my question kind of blends in with what you're saying about this lot. Is there any way to go through the town and identify areas that serve as a buffer, or we know we have, like, Harris Hill wanted to put a subdivision down next to Ellicott Creek, and we had steep slopes, and we have wetlands and floodplains, but there was still kind of some room down there for maybe a few houses, but then you've got floodplains, and, or even up on Stony Road, there was an application for some flood-prone houses, and is there any way to go through the map and through areas and identify areas that should never be built of anything? We have.
Well, the thing is,
You can't take away that right,
yeah, we don't.
right? But there's a
Just 'cause we don't
standard.
want-
But
I think if we're,
to identify the hazards,
we have,
well, we have, but then they come up with something and we, oh, I didn't know that, you know?
well, that's the standard, right?
True.
No, it's very frustrating. Even with that hotel, I mean, there was, all the boxes were checked. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I don't want it, but I can't vote against it. Or,
I know. I just think of a few areas that I know are like, this should never be developed because the people don't know who are going to live there.
Yeah.
They're going to assume that it's
Yes, they-
safe because it got approved, and it's not safe. We have a few of those.
They know.
Like Stony Road and a few others.
They know.
And making it clear that, can this board say, no, you can't build there? That the flood code, all I hear from developers is, well, we'll just fill it in. And they have all the standards that we know that they have to, hoops they have to
Honestly, I don't think it's the municipality's role to tell somebody that they can't do what
I
they
agree.
want to do.
The word, but would it be wise to do that?
Would it be wise? No,
Maybe
but
not.
it's,
Comes down to how much money they want to spend.
it's,
How much money they want to spend for construction.
Yeah,
That's what it comes
sometimes
down
you
to.
go through all those engineering reviews with, floodplain management, for example, and they come out with an increase and they can't do it. And that's their choice, so.
Yeah.
We don't lean very heavily into the impeding the character, because, I mean, the character can be somewhat interpretive, right? Like, so, I think in those instances, most of the time, that would be a point of discussion when we get to that part of the review.
Good point, bring it up.
Yeah, no, I will, believe me, going forward in every one I will, because, like, I did that training, one of the ones you're talking about, and they kind of put that to my attention, but after the fact.
Yeah, it was actually Chuck Malcolm who did training
Yeah.
a few years ago. And he was saying that our job is to get the best project if there's going to be a project, but the character of the neighborhood was something that may radically change. But what is the definition of the neighborhood, since Bowmansville has no boundaries?
Right.
It's generic. I think it's Bowmansville.
Yeah, and there'll be, ultimately it'll probably result in litigation, but that's not for us to say. Like, that's not for us to deal with. That's for the next, group of people sitting in a room, probably similar to this, to do. But,
Yep.
This has been good.
Ed, anything else that you'd like to discuss from engineering?
No?
Matt, anything from building? No?
you got a lot of things coming.
A lot of things
A
coming.
lot of discussion.
Okay.
There's nothing left, but there's still interest.
Good. Brad, anything from legal that you'd like to discuss with the group? Okay, then I will move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Meeting adjourned.
right.
Later, not immediately.
It's in that email back to you.
I saw that, thank you. Yep.
Yeah,
Doing a little overtime.
we had a lot to discuss.
Rebecca, is that your water on there?
No, it's not, it was there when I came here.
Right, I
It's
looped you in on
actually
that as well.
sitting on the chair.
It's just the
I
length of
moved
it.
it over.